everybody, it's Gellman again with another PC Spotlight. This time I have George Wilson joining us as well. And, it's one that we've been trying to do for a long time. So I'm really happy to finally be able to record here with George. George, how you doing, man?
Very good. Glad that we could finally touch base on this after a couple of days, but we
Right.
finally got on the same page and happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited because I know you have kind of a ridiculous collection. So I'm excited to see what you've brought along for us and what you're going to share. And I think that of all of the people, George is really the one that kind of supported this idea from the beginning. So I'm really excited that he gets to be a part of this finally. So George, tell me a little bit about, kind of what got you into wrestling, and more importantly, what got you into wrestling cards eventually too. I'm sure, like me, you've been watching for a long time. So, I'm interested to hear the story.
It is definitely a good one. I can actually pinpoint it down to actually like the month and the year actually in the event. One of our classmates, and this is back in I guess September of '86, had a birthday party, and this is after WrestleMania 1, actually September '85. I'm sorry, after WrestleMania 1, and this guy loved wrestling, and I hadn't watched wrestling or anything like that, and he had a wrestling themed birthday party.
Oh wow!
So he wanted all these wrestling figures for his presents. So he invited like 30 people, and so there's like 30 kids there, and all of them got him a wrestling figure. The problem was there was only 5 available figures at the time. So like legit, he got like 6 Iron Sheiks, 4 Under the Giants, 7 Jimmy Snukas,
Right.
and he was 7. And to continue on with the theme, his mom rented WrestleMania 1 on VHS, and we watched it during the birthday party. And I was just like, wow, this is really cool. And went home and, this is actually on TV Saturday morning. I remember the first like match after WrestleMania I remember watching was like Moondog spot against Hulk Hogan. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. And then it really steamrolled it from there, and it snowballed into this big thing that I spent decades I've been following wrestling. So back in the 80s, I did collect baseball cards, and I thought I had a great collection. And then the 90s came and kind of fallen out, and baseball cards kind of took a dive, and I kind of got out of card collecting. So, years and years ago, I remember going to Walmart going, wow, there's a ton of sports cards still here. Like rows and rows of stuff. And I'm like, who collects this stuff anymore? Nobody
Not like
collects
today.
Nobody collects this stuff. So I'm like, whatever. So it was my birthday, April 2016, and my dad bought me a gift. He bought me a blaster box, a WWF cards. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool and stuff. And looked through the cards, and there was like the hit in it was, if I remember correctly, I think it was a Becky Lynch shirt relic. And I was like, oh, this is kind of neat. And I didn't think anything else of it. And a couple months later, like out of the blue, he sent me another different series. And I got like, I think it was a Neville relic or whatever. And I don't know why, but it got me like, kind of like, you know what I mean? Maybe there's more to this than meets the eye, stealing from Transformers. But I went online, started looking on eBay, and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff out there. And this is some big time stuff. And I remember Adam going, these cards are like $40, $60. I'm like, this is insane. How people are actually paying this amount. So I remember I bought like the Nikki Bella, I think it was a Kiss auto out of 10, and I got a Renee Young Kiss out of 10, just like 2 or 3 cards. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. They only made 25 of these. Like, this is the most exciting. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. And I kind of forgot about it a little bit. And the fall of 2016 was the New York City Comic-Con, and Topps always has big booth there. I'm sure you're well aware of that. You probably know all the people there. But if my dad hadn't bought me those blasters, I wouldn't have even gone to the booth, and we wouldn't be talking today, I'm sure. But I went to the Topps booth, and I noticed that this flyer for upcoming set Divas Revolution. That was it. I'm like, all right, you're hooked. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And the first card I want to show you is actually the first blaster I ever opened from Divas Revolution, and this is what my hit was.
Oh, wow. You got really lucky then.
Yeah, I got really Dana Brooke Kiss auto out of 25. So this is my first blaster of this product that I opened, and I hit this card, And I'm thinking to myself, this is easy to hit these.
Right. You're
this is
spoiled.
this is a cakewalk here. I
Right.
love it. And then this really got me into it, and then it all went downhill from there, and has been my obsession for like 5 years. So
Yeah, I'm
so
right
that's
there
kind
with
of
you,
the
dude.
background.
Yeah. No, it's funny how similar your story is to mine, because I collected sports cards forever growing up, forever, like since I was a little kid. And then, when I finally got a job of my own and a steady income, the amount of money that I started spending on things was, quite a bit higher than it was before. And to get into wrestling cards was basically the same thing. My son started, like, said he wanted to watch WrestleMania 33 or something, and I had watched it all the way up to the Attitude Era. So I was like, sure. And then he wanted to buy some packs of cards at Target, and the rest is history. So
the rest is history. Just
so,
got a hint of blood.
Yeah, it's funny. We're all sharks like that. So tell me a little bit about WCC then, and Wrestling Cards and Collectibles, the group we're a part of. Like, what brought you to the group? Like, how did you get started on that? Because I know you and my previous video counterpart Matt Reese have been around for a while in this group. So give me a little bit of background there too.
Sure. So on eBay hunting these cards down and stuff, and I'm like, there's gotta be a Facebook group, right? I mean, Facebook has everything. And
Everything, right?
2016. So I'm looking up, wrestling cards and stuff, and I'm not really finding anything. Maybe a group here or there with like 5 members or whatever. And then I did find this one group that I don't think they're around anymore, but I joined it, and then through that, somebody kind of tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, you know what? There's this other group also they just started up that's got some cool stuff." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." So I joined Wrestling Cards and Collectibles, and it was just awesome. I mean, that everybody's sharing, their stuff that they got. They're having sales. Everybody's so into this, and that's what I needed. I needed like a community to like share and celebrate successes in,
right?
And
like we all did. Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's been going ever since. An admin in there, which is great. The admin group is awesome. I counted actually before this, Adam, I met 16 people.
Oh, wow.
In the group in person, and they're all freaking awesome. So just amazing people. And it's just kind of like, I check it every day, just like right. You, what's new and exciting, and what's the gossip, and what's coming down the line.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, like, as collectors, we all sort of strive to have this like healthy competition, but also like we want that place to be able to like commune with like-minded individuals. And these groups on Facebook have really become like a second home for a lot of us, because it's so easy to connect with people who are literally the same sort of mindset as you are.
Yeah, and everybody helps each other out. I remember when I think it was SummerSlam set came out, a wonderful set, SummerSlam, and there's a dual auto of Maria and Mike Kanellis hit eBay, and then my DMs were like lit up.
Yeah,
like boom, 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 like
bing, yeah.
And then I do this with almost any wrestler out there. When there's a big hit, I kind of know who collects it, and I'll be like, oh, Chad might want to see this one, or Matt Reese might want to see this one. Adam might want to see this one. I'll just send them a screenshot. And we're helping each other out, so
right,
it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I love it. I was talking about that with Matt before. Is like, it's crazy how you become the guy for this one type of thing, and after that, you start being recognized in the group, and it's all about creating that community aspect. And I know you have kind of a PC that spans just a number of different things, mostly because you've shared your famous case on the group for so many different times, and how you always change it up. But I think for most people, it's like they have this collection that they gravitate towards. But I know for some of the people who've been around for a long time and have kind of gone through the ups and downs of the WWE market, where it started kind of like you were saying, where there wasn't much there, then it got super high and super low, and now it's super high again. Like, it's been easier and harder both to collect really the high end premium stuff.
Yeah, it's been very competitive lately. Definitely,
to say the least.
And it's kind of like you just got to go with the ebb and flows, and I know you've heard this on almost every single video you've done. You got to be on eBay, just check in, and some people are willing to give you some really good deals. I've made some great trades over the years that
yep.
Either side might be at a little bit higher, but you're helping each other out. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of give and take there. But I really don't have like a main PUC. Like some people are like, I'll just throw this out of the blue. Like somebody might just collect Becky Lynch cards, and they might have this unbelievably crazy collection. But I mean, I collect Bliss and have a lot of really decent Nikki Bella stuff, and I just span everything almost. It's
Right.
crazy. Mostly the women's cards, obviously, but
yeah, like I think that's where most of the value sort of lies within this industry. And I know I've commented on this a number of times, but it's like, if you're not part of the Attitude Era or you're not like a female wrestler, your cards really don't have the same amount of value as the others. So
yep. They go in the $3 auto pile.
exactly. So let's see. So you brought along a couple of things to show off here. I'm curious to see which cards you chose. What if you had to sort of sort out your most important pieces of your collection, or at least the most interesting ones? Where do you want to start here?
So I want to start kind of where it all began, and this is kind of Undisputed 17. I remember when I first got in this, you blasters and the hobby boxes. Wow, that's a lot of money. Man, I heard about this Undisputed product, and I'm like, yo, wait, all right, how much?
Like 30 times as much as the blaster.
How much is this per box? $200. Wow, and eBay, if you got in early enough, it was like $175. I'm like, this is insane. I can't do this. And then 2 weeks later, I'm buying a couple boxes. So,
right, exactly. That's the way it always works. Peer pressure.
So the second box I ever opened, maybe it was the third one. I'm flipping through the cards, and then this shows up.
Oh my god! Wow.
So legit, my hand was quivering when I picked up this card. I'm
deservedly like, so.
I can't believe I actually pulled this out of this Undisputed box, and I'm taking pictures and I'm showing it to a couple people, and they're firing back swear words like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you hit that." I just can't believe to this day that I hit that, because
and you still have it, which is even more crazy.
Yeah, I've gotten offers and interest levels, and I've seen the ebb and flows of what I could probably get for this card, really, really high, then kind of goes down. And I'm one that when I have a good card, I just want to kind of keep it. So yeah, this will be with me for a long time, or
especially if you pulled it in your first box. Like how awesome is that? I mean, like I can't think of a better way to start it off.
That doesn't help the addiction, by the way.
No, it definitely does not. And it's funny because you mentioned my Becky Lynch PC. Like my first couple of boxes of Undisputed was 2018, which was the year after that. Yeah, and I pulled a purple, the 1 out of 5 of Becky Lynch. Of course, I was like, I didn't collect anything at the moment, so I sold it to Wallace in our group, and I was like, and he still holds it over my head to this day because he still owns it.
Look what you did! Right? So that was definitely a good one. I mentioned to you, collecting Nikki Bella. Some of my one-on-one pieces I have.
Wow.
I think that's 2017, Then Now and Forever, I believe.
That's a really cool one.
To go along with it, from 17, Then Now and Forever, 101, Kiss Auto. Very happy to get these.
I'm sure.
Some of the stuff blurs together on how I got some of this stuff.
Right, there's so many of the cards. Yeah.
This eBay? Was this where was this? Things like that. I did get my recent 101 from Nikki Bella 17 women's division from Jason K. So I appreciate him. This is one card, Adam, that kind of was floating around. I'd see it on eBay and I see this person own it and this person own it, and eventually I got it. So
surprised you were able to pry a women's division card out of his hands.
I know. He's a good guy. So
well, no, I mean, like out. I going back to that base, the Then Now Forever 1-1 autograph. Like I wish that I was really happy to hear that they're bringing that back this year. I know we still haven't seen a preview for it, but these cards were the ones that I always gravitated towards because they're like the flagship set, right? So they're not the on-card autographs like Undisputed is, but those are the ones that always had like the action photos, was really like awesomely designed because they're playing off the baseball set and stuff like that. So I think it's really cool. Like those are the types of cards that I've always liked. I have one in my case up here, but seeing those is always fun. Like and no one really says like that's my target set. It's always Undisputed or Transcended or something.
I've heard a couple people say the Heritage, they love it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
I love Heritage. Love
Heritage has
Heritage.
a really big following. You don't hear too much about Money in the Bank or SmackDown, but some of those
I
other
don't think
sets.
those are coming back though. I hope those stay. I hope those stay locked away.
Exactly. Another one of your favorite sets, and mine also, is
Oh
Transcendent.
yeah, it's my favorite. I love
So
it.
there's my 101 Nikki Bella. Never thought I would own a 101 trans card, but hey, I got one. So I'm happy about it. But these are really, really nice cards. And they keep
Yeah,
surprising us, Adam. They're done. And then they have another set. And
yeah, it just keeps coming, and like I think that look, that 2019 look, is still the best one. Even though
I
I think
agree.
this year's that they're just previewed looks really, really good. I like it's just so clean and so awesome. Like I have so many cards from that set, and just because that set just is iconic, and it's only a couple of years old. It feels like it's a lot older, but
Absolutely.
it has so many big names in it too.
It's awesome. Definitely one of my favorite cards. And my last Nikki Bella to show you is the only booklet I own. This is it. This is the only one I've
So
ever
many
owned.
people love those. I
don't know if I'm ever going to get another one of these, but I worked out a deal with somebody and got this, and I was very, very happy with it. And again, Undisputed. I think this is 18, right? Undisputed 18. So it's a nice card.
Man, those, they in 2018 they did a couple of booklet sets. They did booklets in women's division with the Kisses, and they did Undisputed too, and they just never went back to it. And like it's so disheartening to hear that like it's still not really a thing. And of course I think some of the wrestlers don't like doing them and stuff like that, but I was excited when they came back and fully loaded. But those booklets, man, the Kiss booklets, you can't beat them. Like they're such
awesome.
gorgeous cards.
They're awesome. They did a nice job on them. Very nice. The other kind of main PC I have, which it does help that this is not kind of one of the more popular people, is Maria Kanellis.
Oh yeah,
so that's kind of a hint around collecting cards. Is that if you're going after the big fish like Bliss or Becky, like you're going to have some competition and you might have to shell out more dollars, but if you're interested in lower level, wrestlers, and it's easier to get those cards and less expensive, and people are more willing to give those up. So Maria, and this is my kind of my pride and joy, is my 5.
Yeah, and you have a picture with her and those cards, don't you?
Yes, there's a story behind that picture. So went to Access with Edmund, who is perfect saint. Like he's an awesome person. He's just awesome. He plays a heel in WCC.
He loves playing the heel.
He's a great guy. And we went
perfect.
to Access, and he was the perfect host and everything. And I got there a little bit earlier than he did. And I was leaving for the event, and I don't know what it said. Just throw in these cards. Throw in the 5 Marias, because you never know if you're gonna run into her.
Right.
So I'm like, all right. So I go into Access. The first table I go to, Maria and Mike Kanellis, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, I can't believe this. It was like it was meant to be. So I just asked her, I gave her the nerd story of, hey, these are the only 5 cards, and can I get a picture of them? And she loved it, and it's just awesome that I found all 5, and people in the group helped me. I got a little bit lucky. I got one off Mercari. I had to download
I've done that too. Like I've done that too. It's funny how like you start having to be resourceful to find some of these things. Like you're going deep into Craigslist and Mercari and all these weird, like crazy. It's just so funny.
Just crazy. But I had 4 of them, and then Ant sent me a message. Anthony Cummins, and he said, I think I can get the 5th one for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean,
please.
Getting all 5 of them is like crazy. I'll never ever do that again, I'm sure, but he really helped me out, and people just again helping each other out, and hey, you're looking for this, let me keep an eye out for you. And that's what we do in the community, and it's really, really awesome. So
yeah, no, it's a great story to tell, and we all have those stories. Like that's what's so awesome about this. Is like every time I get on one of these videos, someone has one of those stories where this guy had this and that, and they sort of made it all work. And here I am, and I've got the card I wanted, and they got what they wanted, and it's just like it's perfect. That's why the group exists.
That's why it exists. Exactly. It's good
cool,
stuff.
Man. So like, so if you had to sort of give advice to anybody about sort of diving in the way that you have, what advice do you got?
Um, have fun with it. I really think, collect who you want. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like Mojo Raleigh, you're probably not going to be, you're not going to have fun collecting them because he's cheap. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you like somebody, if you like Becky Lynch, go for it. Know what you're getting yourself into. You know what I mean? But you're going to be paying more for it. But um, get involved in the community. I heart to God on this one. If there was no Facebook groups, I wouldn't be collecting cards.
Yeah, me either, for sure.
I
I'm
just
right there
wouldn't.
with you. Yeah.
I wouldn't. So get involved, look at some sales, do some trades, show off some of your hits, give advice. Hey, look out for, I know that this person collects, Liv Morgan here. I found this on eBay. What do you think about it? And the more you get involved in it, the more you're helping each other out, the more you make connections. And again, these people are awesome.
It's all about that. That's what it's all about. Yeah,
it is. Sure. I mean, people start buying cases like the nice one that you have off to your right there.
Yeah, that you like the peer pressure that you gave me to go buy it. Yes, exactly.
No regrets though, right?
No, definitely not. It's gorgeous, man. It reminds, like, that was the other thing is like, you always talk about your cases and there's case wars and everything else. Everybody always loves to post what they've got, but you have to have that reminder of, like, what you've really dedicated all this time to. And I know we've talked about a number of times, like, we put so much work into it, and then people start complaining the prices are going up and stuff like that. I'm like, well, I want them to. Like, I put in weeks worth of work on this one
pay
card.
off my house.
Yeah, seriously.
My house paid off.
So I hear you, man.
I think just getting involved, is great. Collect what you want. Be careful that you don't get too hooked and you start applying for credit cards and maxing
right.
out
I've heard that. I've heard about that too. Yeah,
I've heard about stuff like that.
Too.
So just have fun with it.
Check, yeah.
Don't put yourself in debt. That bad. Put the mortgage first before the new pack of undisputed.
I don't know. My kids have gone hungry a few times because I've bought a big card.
Hey, Dollar Tree has food too.
Right, exactly. Ketchup sandwiches. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, George, it was awesome talking to you, and thanks for helping us.
Yeah, please. Before you go, Adam.
You said you had a surprise. Yeah,
I have a surprise for you and all of our viewers, all the hopefully more than a dozen people that are watching this. I've been holding on to this for a while. This is one of my Grail cards. And I have not
Mail Day Live. I like it.
I have not opened this yet. I think I know what this is.
All right, here we go.
I tear it open and it's like a Charlotte base parallel. I'm sorry.
I like this. This is the first ever live Mail Day here as we're going through this. I love it.
I knew I was going to do this, so I waited until we got together to do this. It's in a one touch, so that's good.
At least it's not something that's completely irrelevant.
Well, I got one touches with base cards before, so. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's see it. Oh, yes. I love it. That is incredible.
When I first started collecting, this is one of the cards that I said, I got to get this one day. And then, it was like $300 and I'm like, that's insane back in the day. But I'll never pay that. And
sure enough,
I just had to get it.
Hey, I'm sure you've paid at least that, if not more, this time around. So
maybe a smidgen, but I don't think I overpaid, if that makes sense. I think I got what I think is worth. So that's good.
So let's talk. So this set, there's a number of people that collect this set specifically because it's like everybody's like Grail set, right? And those cards have just skyrocketed in value, especially the ones that are people who are no longer alive. And every time you see those posted, people just go bananas on the group because they're so hard to get. That's incredible. I love it.
It's interesting because this set, there's like cards that they only made a couple of, or cards that they didn't send back, or cards that just were never released and they found somewhere.
So
like
many, yeah.
I love hearing stuff like that, like the
There's
wow,
so
these are
much
really
behind it. Yeah, I hear you. Like the crazy things, the crazy stories that happen about these cards, and there's so many experts too. Like they're like, oh, well, that guy did this and then that, and then he never returned his card. So if you see it with this, and it's not real or whatever. Like I've
yeah,
heard that so
exactly.
many
Well,
times.
there's some fakes out there too, I think,
Yeah, there sure are. There sure are.
but it's a really, really nice looking set, but I'm really glad to get this card, and I wanted
That's
to
awesome.
share it on video with you guys.
I love it. No, that's great. I'm glad you got to share that because that is worth the wait for sure.
Definitely.
Love
It's
it.
awesome.
All right, George. Well, I appreciate you hopping on and thanks again for showing off all your stuff. And it was great to finally get to meet you virtually. I know the pandemic has kind of really put a damper on everybody getting together, but that's kind of why we wanted to do these videos and get to meet the people behind a lot of the collections that we've come to appreciate over the last couple of years. So it's awesome to see it kind of explained and the stories behind it because there's always fun stuff that goes along with it.
Absolutely. Love doing stuff like this. Awesome.
All right, George.
Thanks for having me,
great.
Adam. I appreciate it.
Talk to you soon. All right.